It's not hard to understand why 1/2 of the injury accidents on urban streets and over 1/3 of all traffic accidents happen at intersections. Not when you realize how many two-car crash situations are staring you in the face as you approach this corner. At an intersection, the number of possible impact points are limited and predictable. You can expect to meet vehicles from 3 different directions. You must watch for those from the right, those from the left, and those coming towards you. From the right, you can expect cross traffic and vehicles turning right. From the left, you can expect vehicles turning right, cross traffic, and vehicles turning left. From oncoming traffic, you can expect vehicles turning right. At busy intersections, you can expect to meet a number of vehicles in a number of lanes, making all their movements at once. The same possibilities face each driver in this intersection. The percentages are on the side of a collision unless every driver does everything right. But a basic principle of defensive driving tells us never to expect every driver to do everything right. That colored light up there has the law behind it, but it can't stop a car. It can't physically prevent a willful driver from going past it. The green light is simply an invitation to proceed, provided everything that you could collide with is safely out of your path. For example, suppose you are timing the lights very shrewdly and you're able to keep rolling as a red light turns to green when a car flashes at you from the left seemingly out of nowhere. Here's the accident the way the experts look at it, the way you couldn't see it from the driver's seat. The other driver saw his light change. He went into the intersection on the red, which is, of course, against the law, but he did it. You could have prevented the accident. As a defensive driver, you're expected to be ready to cope with out-of-bounds behavior in traffic. No matter what the drivers around you do, you must protect yourself. It's your responsibility to make sure the intersection is clear. The defensive driver does not try to squeeze some special advantage out of a light change. He obeys the lights strictly according to law. He also makes sure he can see both ways as he approaches an intersection. He checks carefully to the right and to the left to be certain no one is crossing against the lights. Now, the law says that a driver stopping at a stop sign must give way to all other traffic when it is close enough to constitute an immediate hazard. To a driver afflicted with impatience, that may be a matter of snap judgment. Look at the situation again as the seasoned defensive driver would. The defense for all intersections is never assume. Be prepared for rudeness, carelessness, or stupidity, and let him get away with it, because that is what you do to prevent an accident. Learn to anticipate protected streets. You might have your vision obscured by foliage or a sign or by the sun in such a way that you could actually miss seeing a traffic light or a stop sign at an intersection. It's not a bad idea mentally to approach every corner as if you were obliged to give way. An intersection is a place where other drivers make turns, and that means danger. The right turner is always a hazard, but some drivers can make the left turn very dangerous too. The defensive driver must always be ready for anything. Stopping distance, a subject many drivers still have to study harder, is important at intersections because of the visibility problem. To stop in time to avoid an accident at 80 kilometers per hour, you must see cross traffic when you are at least 60 meters away, much more than this on a wet road. And at 70 kilometers per hour, unless you can see cross traffic when you are at least 45 meters away, you can't stop in time to avoid a collision with a car moving into the intersection. And that's if the road surface is dry. If your view is blocked until you are within 30 meters of the corner, then 50 kilometers per hour and avoid a crash. Even at 25 or 30 kilometers an hour, before the average driver can react and move his foot to the brake, a collision may be almost inevitable. You can give yourself that little extra edge of protection by having your foot off the accelerator and just lightly resting on the brake pedal as you approach each intersection. The intersection is one of the great breeding grounds of accidents, and today the problem is compounded. The entrances to many drive-in commercial establishments, shopping centres and industrial plant parking lots are in effect putting intersections in the middle of the block. But you can overcome the hazards by learning and practicing the defences that prevent accidents. Remember, the defensive driver willingly assumes the obligation to give way for safety's sake. But he is not a timid, overcautious person who confuses others by hesitation at the intersection or anywhere else. The defensive driver knows what he's doing and why. He lets others know what he's doing, and he goes safely and surely on his way.